Hello again to our gems of the Alshich. This week's Parsha is the Parsha of Trumah. The main focus of the Parsha is the building of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, where the Jewish people had, of course, at the center of that particular structure, in the center of their whole life, the gold box in which was contained the Ten Commandments. In fact, both the Ten Commandments, the one that was broken and the one that wasn't. And so this was the prototype of what would eventually be a permanent building, the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. And it talks about all of the furniture of this particular structure. So there was an altar for sacrifices, and there was various other things as well. But let's, for our gem of the Alshich, and there's so many gems here, let's just concentrate a little bit on that famous box, the gold box, in which the luchot, or the tablets of the Ten Commandments were contained. So it says the following thing. You should know, sorry, entirely my fault. The Alshich says that all the furniture of the Beit HaMikdash all echoed, paralleled some aspect of human life. The container of the Ten Commandments, obviously, was a parallel to the Torah. And indeed, the Ten Commandments, which itself contains the 630 mitzvahs, are contained in prototype form inside the Ten Commandments. But there's a lid on top of this box, and that's called the kapporos, which comes from the Hebrew word kappara, meaning atonement. What does that talk about? What's that addressing? What aspect of human life is the lid on top of the box? What's that addressing? So the interesting thing is here that when somebody gets married, then Judaism teaches that on your wedding day, Hashem gives you a very special gift, very special present. Anything you, the husband, or the soon-to-be husband, or the wife, soon-to-be wife, have ever done wrong in your life up till then is forgiven. Indeed, leading up to the wedding celebration, the custom is to fast, just like Yom Kippur, a day of atonement, a day of, as it were, readying yourself for this big thing called marriage, and all the responsibility that goes with it. So it's called a kapporos. There's a hint there to marriage. So what would the structure, now remember, what's the structure and dimension of this box? So let's read that bit there, and it's in chapter 25, and it's verse Yud Zayin. And it says the following thing, Masisa kapporos. So you make this lid, this kapporos, this atonement lid. Zohov tor, of pure gold. O Mosayim b'chatzi orcha. It's got to be a Mosayim b'chatzi orcha. Now, an amma is that, from here to my elbow. Two of those, so there you go, and a half. So that gives you a general idea. That's what, I haven't measured this in normal metrics measure, but that's about that length. That was the length of it. Then how wide has it got to be? Then it's got to be the amma v'chetzi rochva. So one of those and a half would be the width of it. So about that wide. Now, because it's a lid, we don't have to worry about the height. We'll deal with that later. That somehow is talking about marriage. Now, the Hebrew word for a man is an ish, aleph, yud, shin. The Hebrew word for woman is an isha, aleph, shin, hey. And we know that if you take out the yud from the man's name and the hey from the woman's name, you get God's name. And there's a lovely little idea that when you take God out of the marriage, then you're left with the other two letters from both, which are identical, aleph and shin. And that is ish. So when you get God in your marriage, Judaism is saying when you get Hashem in your marriage, then it can be an ish and an isha. But if you take that out, that factor out, then it's going to be ish. But there's something interesting there. Yud Hey, the man's letter, aleph, shin, with a yud in the middle, makes ish. Right? So that's 10. The numerical value is 10. The woman is isha, aleph, shin, hey. Take the woman's letter, unique letter, hey, that's 5. So together you get 15. Yud Hey also spells God's name, as we said. So if God in your marriage, you've got it in there, then that's fine. But there's something else which is interesting. The length of this lid, we said, let's remind ourselves, it says it's 2 ammas and a half. Now, an amma, from here to here, is subdivided in Talmudic measures into a tefach. That's a tefach, a fist. Okay? So there's actually 6. So 6 tefachim makes up an amma, and it's 2.5 ammas in length. And 2.5 ammas expressed in its components of tefachim is 15. In other words, if you have Hashem running 15, running through the length of the marriage, then it's going to be not ish. And also the verse famously says in Genesis, the Korah Shemom Odom. God called their name Adam. Aleph, Dalad, Mem. Called their name Odom? Yeah, it's possible, just like the first man was both male and female. Then there's the, in a sense, unnatural separation into two individuals. But the natural state is the way they were made originally, and that is to be literally one person. The Korah Shemom Odom. Then they are to be called Odom, together, one unit. And Odom is Aleph, is a 1 numerically. Dalad is 4. Mem, if we do what's called the Mispar Kon, is again 4. It's 40 actually. Let's stick with the numbers, and that gives us 9. Interesting. The Korah Shemom Odom. And this lid, if you've got Hashem running through it, then you will be one person. You can be united the way, complementing each other, you're meant to be. And then, of course, on top of the lid, there was the 2 cherubs looking at each other. One at the face of a boy and one at the face of a girl. There's a certain blessing of having children, which I think most of us who have children with occasional interruptions when they get to be teenagers, is probably, as the Talmud says, one of the greatest, if not the greatest blessing a person can ever have. So if you've got God running through the length of your marriage, you can be, therefore, one person. That would be the, as it were, the fabric of the marriage, the breadth of the marriage, which will allow you to have on top of it a boy and a girl, which fulfills, a boy and a girl fulfills the Torah's mitzvah of having children, fulfilling the mitzvah of having a family. That would be the greatest blessing of all. So, a house built on Torah, with those structures, with that running through the fabric, then that gets you the greatest blessing of all. Wish you all a very, very good Shabbos.